So this is a deck that I didn't think I'd be making until I got the parts and I realized, oh wait, I have an entire deck of this already, so might as well update it. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, Jello the Casual Card Gamer, and today we're going to be looking at Neo Nectar, more specifically the Musketeers that came out in Clan Collection Volume 2. So let's get straight into the deck profile. So starting off, of course, we can't have a Musketeer deck without a Musketeer Starter, am I right? So we have Broccolini, Musketeer Kira, so when rolled upon, draw a card. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 1 or greater, you get a Quick Shield. Alright, and that is it for our starter. Moving into the grade 3s, we have 4 copies of Lycoris Musketeer Vera, so she is the main head of the deck. And her ability is act once per turn, counterblast 1, retire 2 rear guards. Choose 2 cards from your drop zone, put them on the bottom of your deck in any order, and look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 2 cards from among them, and call them to rear guard, and shuffle your deck. If you call 2 cards with Musketeer in their name, then she gets +1 drive until end of turn, which is nice. Triple drive, calling 2 units. And then pseudo legion, you get to put some cards back to the bottom of your deck, which is nice. And her other ability is, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and you have a Lycoris Musketeer Saul on your front row rear guard circles, all your front row rear guards get the power that she gets from triggers until end of turn. So it's really good because everything becomes a front trigger. So crit front, draw front, heal front. It's nice. Anyway, moving on, we have 2 copies of White Lily Musketeer Cecilia. So her ability is once per turn, counterblast 1, retire a rear guard. Look at 5 cards from the top of your deck. And call up to 2 cards from among them to rear guard, then shuffle your deck. If your soul has a grade 3, you can call up to 3 instead of 2. Then your front row gets plus 10k until end of turn. Now, we run 2 copies of her just because Vera is great, but we don't always get her, so it's either riding into having high chances of getting to Cecelia, so we have 6 good ride targets, or risking it with our next grade 3, which isn't too bad either, but I use this more as a rear guard. We have 4 copies of the reprinted Peony Musketeer Martina. So her ability is from Vanguard once per turn, Soul Blast 1, retire a rear guard, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, and call up to 1 from among them, and then shuffle your deck. So her ability as a Vanguard isn't as board changing or board forming as Vera and Cecelia, which is the reason why we want them on the Vanguard, but her second ability as a rear guard is what makes her useful in the deck. So her ability is, during your turn, if she is called from your deck, she gets plus 5k and 1 crit. So she's an 18k with crit attacker, and you can start doing this as early as maybe grade 2, I believe. Yes, you can do it as early as grade 2 if you manage to get her from the top deck. So those are our grade 3s. We run 10 in the deck. Next, we run 4 copies of Pansy Musketeer Sylvia. So her ability, very simple. When placed on Vanguard or rear guard, you can call a plant token to your field. Really good way to fill up your field so that you can retire the plant tokens to bring out the actual plant elf people. They are elves. Oh no, they're bio. But anyway, the extra field fill is nice because of, again, everything revolves around retiring something and then calling something else from your deck. So having 4 of those is pretty good. Next, we run 4 copies of Lycoris Musketeer Saul. So when he is placed on Vanguard or rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Musketeer in its name, you can Soul Blast 1, retire a rear guard, look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 of them, call it, then put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Then if you called a trigger, you can counterblast 1 to activate those effects. Now, I wouldn't really do it personally, but the option is always there. If your top deck is 3 triggers, then at least you get some respite off of having one going to your field and then the other 2 going to the bottom of your deck. But there we go. And then he does have that combo with Vera, so as long as you have him on your front row, then everybody just shares trigger effects, so that's nice. So next we have 4 copies of Peony Musketeer Tour. Her ability is, when she's placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you can counterblast 1, retire 1 of your Rearguards, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, either call 2 cards with Musketeer in their name or 1 card with anything in their name, and put the rest of the cards at the bottom of your deck in any order. So she is one of the main reasons why you would possibly be able to get a Martina out earlier. Saul can do it as well, but these two are our deck filterers outside of Vera, Cecelia, and in worst case scenarios, Martina. So those are our grade 3s, just 4 copies of 3 different units. And we move into the grade 1s. So we have 4 copies of Water Lily Musketeer Ruth. Her ability is, when she's placed on Vanguard, you can call up to 1 plant token to your rearguard. And if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 1 or greater, so if you're going second basically, or you got ride stuck and you are tragically behind, then you can call up to 2 little flower tokens, plant tokens, onto the field instead of just 1. And her other ability from rearguard is, when your other unit is placed on rearguard circle from your deck, you can retire her to countercharge. So she is good at maintaining your counterblast resources. And next, we have 4 copies of Dandelion Musketeer Mirka. When she is placed on Vanguard or Rearguard, you can Soul Blast 1, call a plant token in the same column as her. Then whenever another unit is placed in the same column as her, as another rearguard is placed in the same column as her, she has plus 3k until end of turn. So you can just you can call her in the back, put a plant token in front, retire the plant token off of somebody else, and then call another unit where the plant token used to be, then she's a plus 6, and then so on and so forth. And next we run 4 copies of Lily of the Valley Musketeer Rebecca. When she is placed, you can choose one of your other grade 1 or less units, and it gets plus 5k until end of turn. Then at the end of your turn, you can Soul Blast 1, retire a plant token, and bounce her back to your hand. So those are our grade 1s. Now we move into our triggers. So our triggers are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Most of my decks are just like this. So we have 8 crits, 4 PGs, 4 draw PGs, and of course 4 copies of our Heal Guardian for the deck. And that is it for this deck profile. What do you guys think? This is one of those decks that I have a lot of memories attached to a lot of decks. But when I first started playing, one of my friends who was teaching me how to play played Musketeers, and our games would go on forever because of how many times he would retire something, search top 5, call it, shuffle it back, and then do it over and over and over and over again with the original Cecelia from, I believe she was from BT8, or was it BT8 or BT7? Either way, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave your comments and suggestions down below, and I will get to them as soon as possible. And I will have hopefully put the prices in for this entire deck, so that if you guys are interested, you can kind of see how much it'll stab your wallet for, but how much it will take out of your wallet. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jello, the Casual Card Gamer. Take care.